Welcome back to the Anime Degens Book Club, episode 172, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining us today. It is only Tyler and I, because we are the only cultured ones who actually read something that won't spoil everything about our goat piece for you guys. Sorry, Dan.
Dan doesn't read. I'm sorry to tell y'all. He says he claims he reads One Piece. He just looks at the pictures. That's it.
That's all you need to know. Okay, that's all you need to do to read One Piece. All right. Don't lead these people astray, Tyler.
He just looks at the pictures. Don't let him fool you. You know, if you start asking him to, what happened and like what's being said and shit, he don't know because he's just looking at the pictures. So.
No, there is actually a lot to read, and I will have you guys know Dan is very literate. He and I talk very much so about the latest chapters and stuff like that. That way it doesn't get spoiled for all of you guys.
There you go.
But that being said, there is one thing that will be spoiled for you, and that is the mangas that Tyler and I have chosen to read today.
Only the first volumes. So
mostly the first volumes.
It's like a first look, so it's fine. You'll learn about yourself if you're reading these. So really fast.
Exactly. Before we get into that though, Tyler, how you doing today?
I wish I could say I'm doing great, but like I just got we're like literally almost into June, and I've finally got a sinus infection. Like I didn't have a sinus infection like all spring and whatever when the weather is changing from hot and cold, and all of a sudden I just got a sinus infection, I guess. So thankfully I can still talk. We'll see how I'm looking by the time Rundown rolls around. Hopefully I'm still able to talk about them, because if not, we're kind of shit out of luck. We'll just have to do a solo episode or something, and I'll just be there and I'll just be nodding my head.
That's all right. It's all right. I can speak for you. I'll say some stuff that's Tyler-esque.
Get them tropes in like anime or whatever, like they're typing with their phone and like the robot talks for you. You know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna be doing.
It's gonna be you. We're just gonna have an AI voice playing whatever you're typing.
Just do.
Yeah, you even have to hold it up too, so that way we can see that you're typing away. It has to be visible that you're typing, but we can't see what you're typing. We can only hear it.
Exactly. We'll make something work, probably. So,
yes. Awesome. Before we get into anything else, though, guys, don't forget the best way to support us, and the best way to find us is by our socials, which you can find at linktree.com/anime degens. There is our Twitter /X, our Blue Sky. Do we even have an Instagram? I don't think we have an Instagram.
Yeah, we got Instagram. We got Threads.
We have an Instagram. We got Threads.
YouTube.
All of this managed by Tyler. Please go on there. Go chat with the man. Show him some support. Show him some love. Give us some thumbs up. We do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys do enjoy the content as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to try something different, really, with the book club. So we hope that you guys do enjoy this. Some of these are going to be a first look at them before they become animes. Keep that in mind. Some of them even have him confirmed.
I think one of the one that did become an anime, we actually picked it before it was an anime. So we just took a little bit longer to get to this episode because we've been so busy. So
yes, I will have you know though, if you guys did watch any of the Rundown episodes where I did read, I did actually do a comparison to how they performed to the manga. So if you guys want to hear how that goes, I'm actually really, really big about that. I actually critique every episode of One Piece, whether you hear it or not. I do. They do a great job. I'll have you know, but the real judgment is coming really soon. But yeah, linktree.com/anime degens.
And also, if you want to listen to our nomination episode for the book club, which is the one that is before this one, obviously, to figure out like what we nominated, why we nominated, all that stuff. It is going to be Anime Degens episode 145. So make sure y'all go check it out. I'll probably put a link in the description if I can remember. Hopefully I do. So that way you can just click on it if you're interested, or you can just go into this and be like, oh, wonder what they picked, and just listen to us yap about it. So
Yep. I mean, it's kind of cool too because like you get a sneak peek at what we were thinking of when we decided to choose these mangas, and
mm-hmm.
it really didn't, you know. I think some of them really kind of turned out a little bit differently than how we originally envisioned it, based around the summary that we were given and the artwork and stuff like that.
Yeah, because
Um,
unlike anime, we don't have trailers for manga usually. So we just gotta go off the summary and shit like that. So ratings and covers and all that good stuff. So
yep. Awesome. So, like I said, guys, this is the Anime Degen Book Club. We have read roughly about one volume. That means one volume or less.
mm-hmm.
I am not going to. I didn't look into Daemons, so I don't know if I read a full volume or more. There's four
four,
episodes
four,
or four
four
chapters.
chapters. Yeah,
Okay, so
that's
I
what
read a
I
little
found.
bit more of Daemons, but the anime is out at
Yeah,
this point, guys.
the
Whatever.
anime's
Okay.
past what
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
read.
I
So
read. I'm reading up to season 1. Okay.
yeah.
um, but that being said, what we're gonna do from here to kind of give you guys a bit of a sneak peek. We are going to pick a manga that we did enjoy, and we're going to continue reading it, and we'll check back in with you guys every so often. Depending on if you guys like this or not, we may actually increase the amount, because I don't know about you, Tyler, but I picked a couple bangers.
Look, I'm always open to increasing my manga library. So, you know what I mean? Because I don't really have a whole lot of time to read manga unless I'm forced to read manga, and this is forcing me to read it. So, I like that. So,
Awesome. You know what I'm surprised that you didn't pick, though?
what's that?
Apothecary Diaries.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've already read it, so most,
I
I'm
should
ready.
have known.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see or not, but like, I literally got the right there. That's the manga and light novels right there. So that white thing beside Berserk. So
Okay.
yeah.
I stand corrected then. My bad.
Yeah, I need to
Um,
I need to read like ahead. I'm trying to debate if I want to or not. If I just want to wait till October. So
right on. Um, but yeah, so we're back here to talk about what we've read so far. We decided to do a first look style and read about one volume. Um, I was supposed to read a volume of Tyler's. Tyler is supposed to read a volume of one of mine that we both nominated. Uh, we will get to those at the end when we actually cover each of our own. Um,
mm-hmm.
we also decided to on how to go forward with the book club. So, like I said, we are going to pick one of them and continue that on until the end, or until we're caught up with it, right? And we have nothing else to talk about. We're not going to make you guys wait potentially months.
Chapter by chapter episodes.
Yeah, then it's going to turn into a rundown,
The
the manga
manga
rundown.
rundown.
uh,
uh
but yeah, and then after that, depending on if you guys like this or not, we'll run it back. We'll pick some new ones. We might even revisit some of these old ones that you're going to hear about today, and go from there.
mm-hmm.
I say may because it's going to be really tough for me to go back to either of these, since I'll be reading almost all of mine consecutively. One of
Okay.
them I'm watching. So that being said, I see Tyler has already nominated his manga. Would you
Yeah.
like to inform our listeners of what you're going to be going with?
So the one that I'm gonna be picking to go forward with, not saying that the other ones was bad or anything, obviously, but I really think that when I'm picking one of these things, I'm picking one that I think that both me and Nom will love because we're both going to be reading, our nominations. So I don't really want to torture Nom just yet. You know what I mean? I maybe give him a little time. You know what I mean? So because it works both ways. If I torture Nom, maybe he picks some shit that I don't want to read, and he tortures me back. So I want to be nice to Nom. So, but yeah, I feel like Itchy the Witch is a good recommendation. I had a lot of fun with it. Um, so I think that's going to be my pick going forward. Is going on to the next book clubs and stuff. So I read one volume of this. Like Nam said, we was going to try to stick with like one volume or less for this first look thing or whatever. That was like about 7 chapters. Um, some things that I really liked about it is like it's pretty funny. But it does a good blend. It does a good blend of like the funny moments, and also it like kind of hits like some serious moments as well, because our main character, he kind of gets abandoned on the mountain as a kid and left to die. Basically, he just like they just give him a little bit of food, and they actually give him a knife, and they say in the moment in the manga, it's like you think that they would give him a knife to hunt with, but actually they give him a knife that way he could potentially kill himself to end his suffering, because he's like a small boy. And I'm just like, man, like this went from like sort of funny, like wild, wild boy. Think like a Tarzan type character growing up in the mountains or whatever. And then we get like a flashback scene to that. And then we go back to like the normal shit, like the goofy, funny Tarzan like boy. That's just like running around and throwing rocks at shit. You know what I mean? So
That's Jesus.
so it flip flops every now and then, which is really interesting. But it's one hell of a start, in my opinion, because like it's like what made his parents do that? I wonder if we'll ever know, or if that was just a way to set his character up to be what it is, or whatever, to be like a good hunter, because like that's what he is. Like he's supposed to be one of the best hunters because he grew up in the mountain. He survived it by himself as a kid or whatever. So, but instead of giving up, he actually uses the knife to actually hunt. He doesn't kill himself with it. Spoiler warning. Um, but I also like the magic system in this. Um, apparently, like in this world, you so they have these things called magics. uh with a J instead of a G. That's actual monsters, the whatever that the magic or whatever. And like basically you go up to them and they tell you what their trial is, and you have to complete that trial in order to basically gain their magic powers or whatever, gain control of them or whatever. So it's kind of interesting. Like one of them like was a water magic, and you had to like when he got presented with the witch or whatever, he's like, you have to drink all of this water, and he had like a bunch of water, and like you have to drink it all, and if you drink it all, you gain control of his power, his magic ability. So pretty cool. Um,
So is their ability tied to like the trial then? So like if say they are asking you to drink all that water, is it safe to presume that the magic entity has control over water?
well, it depends. So like I think I don't know how the trials are chosen. I don't know if the trials are given to um the magics, or if they choose them themselves. It feels like they cannot change them once it's chosen though. You know what I mean? So,
Okay, so
um
they deem a trial and that is the trial that that person must
do
complete.
if they cannot do it, then they don't gain control, but I don't think they necessarily die unless the magic is like hostile, which most of them are. So, um, So there's like, to answer your question a little bit better, there's like a thunder wolf or thunder fox, I guess you can say. And in order to gain its trial is to steal a heart necklace thing, or like a thing that's around its like on its neck or whatever that's attached to his body, and without getting struck by lightning once. You have to steal it from him without getting hit by his electric one time.
Huh.
um and so that's how you complete his trial. But like, you literally have to like, you know, get close to him to get it, and obviously he's not going to do that, you know what I mean? So uh so I guess it just varies. I don't think we haven't really gotten that deep into the lore like that, I guess, but it doesn't seem to be super based on mad like their top, you know, or whatever. But I don't know how it all works. So also, like, I don't know if you remember or not, but when I talked about this last time, we the summary says that like the only people in this world that can wield magic is witches, and witches are mainly women or whatever. Like, men are known to not be opt to, you know, they don't have the aptitude for magical ability. So there's not a man or a boy witch because they just can't use it. So, which is interesting because Ichi is a boy, Ichi's a man, and obviously he becomes a witch. So, um, but speaking of that, we see the first like we see the magic that Ichi consumes, right? It's like the magic king. And his ability or his trial is you have to like defeat it. You have to like kill it, defeat it, whatever, in order to gain its powers. And it's not ever been defeated before. Um, but mostly because its trial requires you to defeat it and kill it, but it cannot be killed by a woman. So that's why it's never been defeated, because only witches are women. So until Ichi shows up, and Ichi kills it and gains his power. But what's so cool about that is they will go on to explain that even if a man had the ability and had the like power to kill a magic, uh like, there's still only a 0.001% chance that that man could actually obtain the magic after they got done finishing the trial. So that's how lucky Ichi is. He's a miracle worker. So, and as soon as I seen this, I was like, all you gotta do is add go to the end of Ichi. You got Ichigo, and then we got Bleach. This is literally just Bleach. Now, got the strongest main character, full of ass pools, and and this is Ichi. So, but yeah, but lots of funny moments. I keep on wanting to call him Daemons, but this magic, he like, Black Clover, right?
Yeah, of course.
The little thing on Asta's shoulder, the black thing or whatever, you know what I mean, that pops up every now and then.
The demon inside of him?
Yeah, but it gets on his shoulder, right? And talks to
Yeah.
him. Yeah. Well, the same thing happens here. The Magic King or whatever, he literally becomes like a black avatar looking thing that sits on his shoulder and tries to like convince him to do shit, bad shit, like kill the witches, like, go against the witches because, you know, he knows that they want to turn him into the guinea pig and all this shit. And then the other witch is like, that's not really true. He just wants you to turn against us. That way we kill you or whatever. And then he gets free because apparently once the host dies, it sets the magic free. So, and so he's just a bad influence. Uh, but I got a little panel for you. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen that. So this
I've been looking at it a bit.
so this is like a recap scene. And so the way they do like information dumps and recap scenes and stuff like that to get you caught up and what's going on and stuff like that, it's so funny. Like I feel like this would thrive in an anime. Like just like the art style and like the chibi moments and stuff like that. It's if this ever comes out in anime, bro, I feel like it's an instant 10. So it's just so good. Um, but yeah. Other than that, I'm a big fan of Ichi. He acts like a feral animal, basically. Like I said, he's Tarzanian, kinda. He literally just acts on instincts and survival. He isn't super smart. He's just a hunter, which is really funny when you couple him with the witch that actually has to like keep an eye on him, train him, whatever you want to call it. She's actually the strongest witch in the world or whatever, and like that's who you're seeing in this thing. It's her name's Descaris, and she's very egotistical. I think I don't know if that's the right word, but she's very lazy. She has an ego. I forget what she says, but there's like a passcode or some shit, and it's like the strongest witch or I don't know, it's some kind of stupid passcode that's just like just egotistical, and I'm just like, bro, this is so funny. But they're always arguing back and forth. It's hilarious. And then you got then you got the Magic King or whatever chiming in and arguing with them all too. It's great. So character designs are great. Uh, but I mean, it the story really hasn't started yet. I don't feel like it feels like it's just exploring the world right now, kind of letting us know like how the magic system works and all that stuff. It's like meeting the characters. There ain't nothing too big happening. Itchy's already beat the Magic King and then he beat that one thing, the electrical fox or whatever. So he's got multiple abilities now. So that's pretty cool. I'm interested to see what happens next. So um, but yeah, very chaotic, very funny, with surprising like there'd be like serious dark moments just come out of nowhere and you're just like what the hell, and then it goes right back to something like this where they're just like arguing with each other and picking their nose and shit like that or whatever. So but great.
Yeah, awesome. I'll definitely have to check that one out then, because it sounds like I missed something that was probably pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's my pick, so you kind of have to read it, right now.
Yeah, at this point now. Um, so I'm gonna throw you for a little bit of a curveball here. I'm gonna talk about my first manga choice, which turns out I read 1.5 volumes. Each volume roughly is about 4 chapters, but one, it was pretty interesting, and then two, I just had to confirm a few things as well with against the anime, so that kind of led to me reading a little bit more. I did read at least one volume before the anime dropped,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to preface that now. And it was honestly very interesting, right? Because it started off as this like semi-normal premise that quickly breaks into this modern day setting with a lot of character, right? Like the one area where the previous mangaka's manga had excelled at was just the daily movement and the day to day, right? It felt like it was actually happening. Like this was an actual day that was playing out. These are events that would happen over the course of this day and stuff like that. It didn't feel like you had rushed everything into a single small minute time frame. Like a One Piece battle takes what, roughly a day, but it's like 59 episodes long.
Like 3 years in real time.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah.
that's so it was nice for them to kind of break away from that and actually go with something that was a lot more fast paced and stuff like that. Not to mention too just the modern day elements that they added in. Um One of the things too was just how well drawn and brought to life all the characters were, and it really made you want to learn a lot more just with how much detail was put into each and every person, how much focus that they got in each and every frame that they had shown them in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they even go their out of their ways to kind of try and introduce you to various elements and stuff like that, which I appreciated. But then when they finally broke into the modern day, you see planes, you see cars. They're accurate representations of what we see and what we deal with. It's not like this fictional world or this sci-fi world. It's our world. It's modern day. It's actually happening. So um, to be able to also have that much detail there was a really nice touch as well, and it really made reading it a lot easier. Um, One of the things too is the extra element of the Daemons, right? Because at first it starts off where you just have this kid who's extremely gifted at hunting. You can chalk that up to a number of different things, but at the end of the day, when you throw in the Daemons, it changes how the whole dynamic goes. The moment that Gabby shows up for the first time in the village, do you remember reading that?
Yeah.
So hang on, taking the anime out of the picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
She just comes in and just gobble. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and that's. I think the anime did a really good job too. Like both of them done a really good job at like making us think that they were the bad guys. Because at that time we thought they was the bad guys. You know what I mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's interesting to see that again from like this perspective, because obviously, well, me personally, like I hadn't, I waited till, recently to read because Nom was gonna read it before and I was gonna read it after and see what we thought about it. How our opinions varied or whatever. Um, and I think it was a good, like, it's definitely a good adaptation. I think the anime is doing a really good job, Nom. Um, like a really good job at like adapting this because, like, for one thing, you like so the manga does feel a little bit fast, in my opinion. After watching the anime, like the anime slows down a lot, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, no, I'll give you that. It's not quite as
It's not
as
like One Piece, right?
yeah, no, definitely not.
But
But
it
that's one
did.
of the elements that I appreciate about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't waste your time drawing things out.
I think the way that they do it, the way that they do slow down in the anime is actually like it's good. Like it gives you much more needed details um on the actual like manga, source or whatever. And like there's a lot of stuff that makes it a better show that they do in the anime, like, just giving us like drawn out scenes and like just more details and more character development and like fleshing out all this stuff. So it's pretty cool to see what the manga's like after you've seen the anime. So also
Definitely.
in the manga, Gabby uses chomp too. She doesn't say gobble, and I didn't like
Or
that.
okay.
Yeah, she says chomp, 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 chomp. So I'm just like, bro, the Japanese subtitles and shit, like they got it right. It's gobble. Like she literally says gobble. So in Japanese, but I don't know.
Okay, so I think the version I had was a different translation
Probably
where
like
it
a
actually did say
fan or
gobble.
sub. Okay, I like
More
that
than
one
likely, yeah.
better. Yeah, I like that one better. But
Me too.
that's the only thing that I didn't really care for, honestly. Like, obviously, I already knew what was gonna happen, but like,
But no,
it's
just
still
when
fine.
when she shows up and then all of a sudden you see those teeth and everyone just starts dying, like you start getting curious, and then all of a sudden you finally see when he awakens the Daemons, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
come out. And then how they just like shoot around like they did, and in their introduction, and you even get introduced to that god as they're leaving the
Mm-hmm.
temple, right? Or the area. There's
Yeah.
just so much intrigue and wonder and everything else like that when it comes to those Daemons, and it opens up so much of the world. We learned that there's good Daemons, there's bad Daemons, there's godly Daemons, there's protector Daemons, there's Daemons that give you powers that will ruin all of mankind if you listen to the prophecy.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good adaptation. I think the manga is really good too. Um, I feel like if the anime wasn't out or whatever, there might have been a good chance to this would have got picked to move forward or whatever. But um, yeah, I think that it's definitely a fun time though. I I don't know. I mean, I'm probably gonna keep on reading this at some point, Nam. Unless the second like season gets announced like really fast, which you think the odds are high for that?
Um, I mean,
Being
there's
a
definitely gonna be a second season. It's just a matter of when it comes out,
mm-hmm.
right? I don't think it's gonna be something super quick, but I do believe that this anime is gonna take off,
I
especially
think so
after like
too.
the
Yeah.
last couple episodes and stuff like that. It's one
Um.
of those things too where like people who watch anime really they just need to trust that a lot of these are gonna get better, right? Like look at what happened with Gachi
Yeah.
Kuda started off slow and everyone was hyping it up. Everyone I knew at work was just so hype on it. And then look at what happened. It
Mm-hmm.
ramped up hard. And I think that's really all we're waiting on is for that ramp up moment to happen, right?
Because we really
Um
ain't got that outside of like the first couple episodes, right? And like it's been pretty chill. So
well, no, we've had our hectic moments, but I think what it is ultimately is that we're getting to a point where we're finally going to get introduced to like a bigger element
mm-hmm.
that's going to raise the stakes, and that's what we've been waiting for. I think
Mm-hmm.
at this point there's not really much that's going to stand in the twins way, especially if Asa has the power of break like she does,
Mm-hmm. Which
which brings me actually to my next point. The powers, not only the powers that the Daemons have, right? Like we've already seen that there was the hare and the tortoise can increase its weight. The hare is lightning fast. You have right and left, who, if you guys have been keeping up with the rundown, you know that right and left are actually the counters to break and seal, which are the powers of the twins. Um, and even just to break and seal and powers like those, right? Like that just creates so much more mystery in this world, and basically each of it, including even just the Daemons themselves, can be whole story arcs that they can spin off and expand this world on. And the best part about it is like the mangaka is as sick and twisted as this bitch is for what she did with that chimera
Dinos.
scene. um but like she's incredibly talented when it comes to world building. She can take any dull moment and like really turn it on its head or expand it in such a way, like even just recalling from Full Metal Alchemist the small little moments like Nina, right? And how that
mm-hmm.
just changed our entire outlook on things. Um, what is it? Roy Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
What a terrible day for Rain.
Yeah, yeah. As he's cried. Uh Poor
But
dude.
like, May Hughes and stuff like that. Or even just dealing with how like they expanded on the sins and stuff like that, and then you got to see even like the duality of someone like Greed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Which
pretty sure it was Greed.
I'm which that's the thing too. It's like we already know that she's able to do like stuff like that, right? So, you know, what if like so we just have to have faith that we're actually gonna get to see that in this one too. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna be hit with those same types of shit in this series as well. And it's just a matter of time. It's like, when is it gonna happen? You gotta let it cook, And
Yeah,
right now it's cooking. It's just not boiling yet. So
exactly. So that being said, though, I really did enjoy this one. I'm probably not gonna keep reading it only because of the sole fact that the anime is out. They're doing a fantastic job. There's more than enough. I don't think we're gonna get Daemons of the Shadow Realm Brotherhood. um, you know, but
never know.
at the same time, I'm not dropping it because it's not good. I'm dropping it because of other reasons, which I will explain later.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, this is not the one that I'm going to continue reading, and I kind of think you already figured that one out, Tyler, when I said that I'm not continuing it myself.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's the same thing for me. Like, it's got an anime out. It's probably guaranteed to get at least another season. So like, I feel like we're okay not reading it. You know what I mean? Like, from
Yeah.
what I've read so far, it's doing a really good job. It's doing. I think it's doing a even better job at telling the story than the manga does. I'm not saying the
Well,
manga is bad. It's just it's
it's
expanding
doing.
on what it's given. Which is good.
I, I wouldn't even say that. It's pretty 1-to-1.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying it's expanding on all the stuff. It's drawing stuff out. It's giving us more details. It's giving more characters, more time, and it's doing what a good adaptation should do. So, um, without making it feel like it is like drawn out and boring or whatever. You know what I mean? Too much. Yeah, it's not too much. It's just right. So, but yeah, I
For
figured you
sure.
wasn't gonna. I figured you wasn't gonna keep reading it though, because the anime is kind of cooking her. So.
Yeah. All right. So that being said, though, Tyler, what was the next anime that you, or sorry, the next manga that you had read?
So I'm gonna go with I Am a Hero first, because
Okay.
if I remember correctly, I think this was the one that I was more excited about. Like, I think it's one of the top ones of the ones of my nominations. I thought I would like this one the most. I guess you know what I mean. Um, I think I said something along the lines of, let me see. Um, I wanted to be pretty. I heard it was pretty scary. I wanted it to be, scary. I wanted it to be serious because it has themes and it talks themes. It talks about psycho horror and zombies included. Like, that's stuff that I wanted. I wanted to see something like that. I wanted to see like a good zombie manga that has psychological horror in it, and not just like jump scare shit. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
did I get that? Um, Not really, not yet. I think so. The end of it, like chapter 11, I read 11 chapters, which is one volume, and on chapter 11, it finally got to kind of what I was looking for. Like, everything before that, it was kind of like just introducing the character, I guess, and just like talking, us watching him live his daily life and getting to figure out who he is, which I have an issue with because the dude is not a good person. Like, he's very cringy. If you think about like the cringe lord otaku that never comes out of their room or
Oh
whatever,
God.
and when he does, like, he's like what was that, Chinibio, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. Like that's how he acts. He literally like he's 35 years old now. He's he's old. He's like us. He's old. And he's over here like acting like he's 10. Like just saying weird shit, doing weird shit, making weird faces all the time. Uh I don't know. He's just in his own little world, just doing cringy shit. Um so I was kind of hoping for something more serious, and I think that it is coming. I just think that it took a while to get there. Because like this dude, he's also like having delusions. So like he sees people, like he sees one person, and he talks to them. They talk to him, and he talks to them back, and he talks out loud to them, and they're not real. This person is not real. And he lets other people see him do it, so everybody thinks he's crazy. And I think he is. Um, and like he acts like someone, like he's got a girlfriend and everything, and like it's shown that they kind of they mess around, like they do sexual things, relationship things. And I'm starting to believe that I don't think she's real either. I don't know. I think it's all in his head. I'm not sure. It's interesting. I just wonder if like that's gonna be a twist. Like, is it all his imagination, or like is this shit actually happening? I don't know. But like I said, 5 chapters in, zombies didn't even happen. I think it took like 6 or 7 chapters for like a zombie appearance to show up, and then it's don't really even talk about it much. It's just like he thinks he's seeing shit again. You know what I mean? And like it was when he was walking home at dark, which by the way, he's scared of the dark, and he has to sing the pussy song in order to not be scared while he's walking. I'm not gonna sing that because it's stupid. So, but he's got a fascination with like the news anchors, and like he really likes the news anchor. Every morning when he wakes up, he has to like eat his breakfast with a picture on the TV thing with like four I think it's like animated girls with big boobs, and he's just like boob morning and talking about all these other different boob jokes and whatever. Like it's just really crazy. um so like I thought it was kind of boring up until chapter 11. I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I don't know if I'm going to keep reading it. And then chapter 11 comes, and like we get like a crazy good drawing, like a good panel work and good drawing of like the first zombie that he knows. Uh and I'm just like, okay, maybe this is starting to cook. Maybe it's starting to get okay. But also I'm kind of concerned that this dude who acts like this and is seeing people and talking to people out loud that's not there, he owns a shotgun, bro. And it's fixing to be the zombie apocalypse. So I'm kind of concerned, I'm kind of concerned for other people and not just zombies. So, and he doesn't really know how to use the shotgun. He was actually gonna he was going to like a target club or like practice thing class or whatever, that way you can learn how to use it. So it's gonna be interesting. um but I will say I'm gonna keep on reading this, I think, because I think that it will turn into a decent story. Hopefully. I think that that was just like the start of it was just a way of them showing us like how this character is, and like what his personality was, like what he's got going on with him, like all that stuff, and maybe how he adapts to the zombie apocalypse kind of thing, or like I don't know. I'm curious now, so it's interesting. What do you think, Nom? Sound like something you like?
Not at all. I think I would have dropped it after the first chapter. Not even.
When he's I like man, dude's so cringy. Dude is cringy as hell. And like the facial expressions in this shit, man, it's like, have you ever seen Uncle Isekai Uncle from Another World?
No.
Okay. So they literally make faces like that's in that anime. So that's how like exaggerated that their like faces are sometimes, and which is, I'm not saying it's bad. It's like a really good drawings for the most part. It's just, not what I expected out of psychological horror zombie apocalypse manga. So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll definitely keep on reading it. I'm interested to see how he changes, what goes on in this world. So
Awesome. All right. Well, on that note, I will take it away with my next one, which is going to be Ultimate. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. I was just shy of a full volume. The volume is, I believe they said 7 chapters, 8 chapters,
okay,
8 chapters. Um, so I read up through 7 of them, and I mean, this thing is pretty funny. Not gonna lie. So the mangaka is actually a former assistant to Oda,
okay. I remember you saying
and
that.
you can definitely see a lot of the Oda style in like the storytelling and stuff like that, especially the comedy moments. Um, but at the same time, they also do a really great job of setting up the character himself. So he basically turns himself into the ultimate exorcist machine, right? Like he and his body are literally the ultimate exorcist. He can take down anything on his own. And in the very first couple chapters, we're introduced to two demon lords, and he literally just wipes them out like they're absolutely nothing.
Hits him with those Sung Jin Woo.
It just absolutely bodies them. And um just to kind of also show like the duality too, though, right afterwards it turns out that he's afraid of all the recognition and like people looking at him and seeing him and stuff, and he just gets absolutely terrified, right? And then it's even crazier because then you also meet a friendly demon, and he's chill. He actually likes the guy, and he's trying to protect him and help him, right? And like they're demons, so they know they're going to be exorcised. They're being hunted down. Um, so it's really interesting to see too, because he has no problem performing the exorcisms, but he also has a problem doing it against somebody who's non-threatening, which is really interesting because he's failing as an exorcist at that point. And they do a really great job too of just constantly reminding him that he's like the ultimate exorcist, but he's failing as an exorcist, but he's still the ultimate exorcist.
So does this demon that he refuses to kill, does it become like his sidekick or something? Like what goes on there?
No, he gets exorcised by somebody
Oh.
else.
So
But
it doesn't matter if you're hostile or not. If you're a demon, you're just shit out of luck and you just gotta die, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, demons can't live with humans, dude. That's unheard of. Get real. Which I'll cover in here in a moment. Um, the pacing. The pacing was actually kind of fast in the beginning, right? Like
hmm
right in the beginning, we get introduced to two demon lords, and he literally exercises both of them on the spot, like they were nothing, right? But it slows down immediately afterwards, but it's still like it could go one of two ways, right? Like it's kind of had its own solid line that it's been coasting, but it could go up and stay that way. It could stay like as it is now and continue like its own pace as it is now. Either way would be great with this show or this anime or manga. Like
Okay.
the way how it's paced and everything, and the elements that they're bringing in, it's 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 great. Um, Basically, he graduates, right? He gets to decide where he gets to go and continue his exorcism, and he chooses a small town where this one guy is, and while he's there, he's like, "Hey, yeah, I actually run a kitchen, and it got really, really popular. This ramen shop. So you're gonna actually be a cook in between jobs."
I,
Yep,
I I didn't think the
and
ultimate exorcist, would have to work a side job.
it gets even better. Then they also make him go to school. But this actually brings up another thing though too, because we get introduced to two more characters, a student and then a demon, right?
hmm
And we see another exorcist show up, a cross paladin, right? So we actually learn about a ranking system as well. And cross paladins are strong enough to actually take down demon lords on their own, which is what makes them so powerful and special. Um, and it turns out that this one demon actually is one of the 13 demon lords, but Kiyoshi has actually made friends with this kid and this demon. And he literally almost sacrifices his life to save him, right? Against this cross paladin. And obviously this paladin's ready to kill him. Um but what really makes this interesting is that the master of the kitchen shows up, right? And he kind of like plays it off all coy. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, these guys they're my new recruits, and they're with me. Don't worry about it. Sorry, I submitted the paperwork late." And then when the cross paladin's like, "Yeah, right. I'm not buying any of this." He's like, "Okay, my bad. By the way, you're really pissing me off." And you just see this shadowy figure behind him. It like this physical manifestation of like something.
Is that a demon?
I have no idea what the fuck it is,
Oh,
Tyler.
you didn't get that far. It stopped or
It
whatever.
it doesn't it doesn't it doesn't tell you what it is, right? You
Oh,
just see it, and then the cross paladin's like, "All right, I'm leaving. It's
you're
not
like,
worth it. See you."
I'm good on dodge.
He just casually walks away, and the guy's like, "All right, thanks. See you next time." But so like, there's definitely a lot to this that they're also now just kind of introducing near the end of volume one, and it's really interesting because now the demon lord is actually alive. He's actually on the side of Kiyoshi and stuff like that, but he's non-threatening, right? Like he's got his threatening form, but he's actually like this derpy looking, like it looks like a ghost with a fucking cloak on his head, and he's got antlers. Like that's what he looks like. If
so
you
he,
wanna if you wanna see a picture of him, his name is Jack Joe.
yeah, I'm looking up a thing. So
Look up Jack Joe.
this demon or whatever, this demon is he actually on his team now? Like, is he like hiding as a good guy or something like that, and nobody just knows?
But not even that. No, they know now.
And
But
they just let him stay alive
uh, well, Yoshi did, yeah.
for now.
No, dude, like seriously, Kiyoshi nearly sacrificed his life, and then Jack Joe actually reverts back to from his demon lord form to the form that he was in when he met Kiyoshi, and actually takes the sword slash, nearly dying, right?
Hmm.
And so when the head of the branch shows up, he's like, "Yeah, no, these are my new recruits." He points directly to the kid and the demon lord.
Oh, okay.
And one of the other side guys with the cross paladin acts hang on, he accidentally drops this vial that'll heal anything. And he's like, "Oh no, well, now that it dropped, I don't know what'll happen to it," as he's like literally sitting there saying that. And he's trying to be, nice and coy about it and walk away. And then Kyoshi's like, "Thank you." And then the one girl is like, "That was the worst acting I've ever seen. It was so obvious what you were doing." So like even the serious moments, he still brings it back, the mangaka. He brings it back with the comedy and stuff like that. Still keeps it lighthearted. Because nobody died, right? And Jack Joe did actually get recruited now to the branch. So that is the last that I know.
you know, you know what this kind of sounds like? This literally almost sounds like Itchy the Witch. It has a lot of similarities between Itchy the Witch. You know what I mean? you got like an outsider that's not supposed to be there coming in, you know what I mean, as Itchy and Jack Joe. You know, you got like the funny
Well,
moments or whatever, like all magics, all demons, they cannot live. They have to, go whether or not they're hostile or not, all that
the
stuff. So
the whole Jack Joe thing, he's a side character, right? So we don't exactly know the full extent of what his role is going to be, but no, this is definitely more One Piece, but like modern age and less about a group right now and more about like self-discovery with the character.
yeah, I think this was a good pick. Which I haven't read it, but I think it's a good pick. Uh,
Yeah, I definitely think that you should also read it. That being said, I don't know if I am going to choose this one yet as the one I want to continue. Honestly, it's really tough.
you're still on the fence, ain't
Um
you?
I'm still on the fence and I will let people know why after you go ahead and you talk about yours. I'm going to go grab something to drink though in the
Okay.
meantime.
Alrighty. So mine is called Bugle Call, my last one. I wanted to check this one out because like I heard like a lot of people talking about it. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. It's a fantasy. It's like in a fantasy setting, which I'm a big fan of fantasy stuff. Um, so it said it has some military action going on, and like it looked pretty cool. And so I read the first volume, which is 3 chapters, since the chapters are a little bit longer in the beginning, I think. But honestly, like this is a really decent, fantasy action story. Like I wasn't sure exactly how a bugler being in a war party would play out in a manga setting, like in a fantasy setting, but like it's pretty different. Like it's set up pretty differently than a normal fantasy. So like, you know, you always got the people that the buglers are the people like that basically tell everyone what to do from the commander, right? Like if you want to go to this formation or do this or retreat or whatever, that's the bugler. The bugler has to be the one to call that, and that's what he is. So, um, but it gets a little bit more interesting. Like this kid, he's the bugler, but he's also part of like a unique group of people called the Branched, and they have powers, different powers. And his powers is he can actually see sound, and also show others sound. So like he can like play the bugle, and he can like literally show people where to go and what to do through sound because they're able to see it when he uses his power. So you can kind of see like how that would kind of be pretty powerful in like a cavalry situation in like that style of like war battle. You know what I mean? Um, like you literally had the upper hand because like everyone could just like follow your signs or whatever and just do what you want to do. They don't necessarily have to like know what the sounds mean or like it's like specifically like you have to do this. So um but the objective of the story so far is pretty simple though, which I think it may get better. I wasn't really in love with it yet, but like I said, I only read 3 chapters. That's the first volume. But basically, like an enemy nation um, controls like a important spire. Like there's only like a few spires here and there, and like I forget what it is. I don't know if they really like dove into it very much, but the spires are connected to powers and stuff like that or something like that. And there's only a few of them, and if you have control of these spires, you are basically more powerful or something like that. So, but anyways, enemy nation, they have control of one of these spires. Um and basically the people that he's with, the new people that he's with, they want him to help defeat that new nation. They want him to lead their army and take over this spire. That way they become more powerful or whatever. And once he does, he can leave and quit being a bugler and actually become a maestro, which is what his dream is. He wants to, become a musician and, play songs. That's all he wants to do. He wants to play songs. He doesn't want to be stuck, in on the battlefield or whatever. So, but I think this truly does have a lot of potential. It's pretty dark, it's pretty gritty, which is one of the things I really love in a fantasy story. But I kind of need to see more about the world, and what's going on. I kind of need like a little bit more, a little stronger like goal, I guess, objective. Like it's kind of weak right now. I feel like it should be something else going on or whatever. Like we don't even know who some of these people are. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know if they're good, bad. We don't know if the people who Luca's with are good or bad. We don't know hardly anything. And I think that's just because like I'm so, you know, obviously like I didn't read a whole lot. I only read one volume. But uh the last chapter I read, it kind of ended on like a confusing way as well. Um, it had like a pretty decent twist, and it was like, it left me thinking like, what's going on, and it kind of makes me want to read more, but like I stopped because like I didn't want to get into like spoiler territory, I guess, since we said we was gonna do like a first look of this.
Hmm.
Um, so I wanted to stop and you know don't I didn't read ahead because I didn't want to get too deep, all that stuff. So but overall I liked it. I think I will continue reading it. It is a shorter manga. It's only been releasing for a little while now, so I think it's caught enough of my attention to continue it. um Whether or not it lives up to the hype that I've seen online, that's to be determined yet. Like there's a lot of good things about it, but there's also like a lot of things that I'm just like, man, like okay, like I ain't sold on it just yet. So we'll see what happens though. But that's about all I got for that one. I think that you would kind of enjoy this one too, Nom. Maybe. Um, it's pretty interesting. So
Okay, awesome. All right, then on that note, we'll get into my last one, which was Kagurabachi. Spoiler, this one does have an anime announced.
mm-hmm. Think
This one is one that is confirmed to have one.
maybe 2027, I think, maybe. So I'm not sure on a day, but it does have a confirmed anime coming. So
They're gonna have to cook. That's all I know, and for
oh,
good
it
reason
probably
though.
will. It probably will. I think Dan hyped this up when it first come out. He was reading it. Like the whole internet hyped this up. They was like, this is one of the best, series that's come out in like years or some shit. Is what I think everyone was saying. So
For good reason though.
mm-hmm.
But no. So I read less than one volume, which was 7 chapters. A full volume of this one, I believe, was also 8 chapters.
Right there on the
Yep,
borderline. Yep.
8 chapters. That being said, I was just shy of getting through all of that, and my god. So this starts off like really really peaceful, right? It's more of like a slice of life kid in a village with his father who's a blacksmith. I wouldn't say a village, right? It's more of a modern day, but he's a blacksmith. He's been making these swords, and all of a sudden it turns into this giant revenge plot where we find out his dad's been murdered right in front of him. He's the only person surviving, and his father actually made these swords, right? And this is where we actually get into the meat, the potatoes of the show. And the swords are actually imbued with powers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool right there. Yeah, that's a good power system probably, right? It's like Bleach, right?
To an extent.
Yeah.
So while they do have power, it actually involves somebody using spirit energy to draw the power out and determines how powerful it is, right? So you can't just be like, oh hey, this thing can do this. Go ahead, do it. Right? That's not how that works. You actually have to be able to channel the energy out of the blade in order to cause those effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are named blades. There's plenty of names. One of the ones that we're going after now is actually called Cloud Gouger.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you can kind of guess what its name suggests it does.
Probably.
To
Oh,
clouds.
yeah, yeah.
Which who knows what else it could do it to, right? Um, but that's where the first mystery starts, right? The powers of these swords, what all can they do? How strong are they, right? They're talking about how these swords stop the giant war from almost destroying the world. But yeah, these swords can also destroy the world because they're that powerful. So it's interesting to hear about all of these, right? But then you finally get introduced to one. And it's actually the one the main character has on him. See, him and his father were working on a sword, and just before he passed, he finished the sword and he actually left it with the main character whose name is Chihiro. Now, Chihiro goes through a little bit of a time skip. It's like 3 years since the event of his father's death. And so now his revenge story starts. Um, but he gets introduced to a couple characters kind of early on, and they're helping him. One guy's got these like powers where he can kind of like teleport and stuff like that, which is really interesting. But then you also see other people with other sorcery abilities. So you get introduced to this one guy who's chasing this little girl, and this little girl is like, "There's this guy with the most powerful or the most strongest sword in the whole world." And then all of a sudden, Chihiro comes and ends up having to save her, right? And all of a sudden, he's got one of the world's most strongest swords. And so now he's trying to find it, right? But this girl, she's not answering any questions. Well, come to find out, she actually has special properties. Her body heals any injury instantly.
Hmm.
And she's afraid, right? Because she's been in captivity all this time. She's afraid that if she tells anyone that they'll just take advantage of her, right? So now you also have like these trust issues that this girl has, and she's trying to break out of it. And Chihiro, he really doesn't want anything to do with it, but like he's just being sympathetic because he's hearing all these things and he's getting in his feels and whatnot. And like, so he goes to go get her food, and she ends up in the back seat after he left her behind. He's like, "All right, what do you want? This? All right, don't make a mess. You satisfied?" They go to an ice cream shop. She eats the ice cream. Don't make a mess. You satisfied? They end up at a boba shop. so like it just keeps going, and like you can see that he cares a lot, but he's also like he's closed off
Mm-hmm.
from a lot. But you also meet a lot of other interesting characters too, like the guy that can teleport and stuff like that. He just shows up out of nowhere and just kind of does things. You got this black market dealer who actually has the one sword, and he's like the big villain now. Um, but like he put out this message that created an entire like assassination bounty on the kid and Chihiro. So like you're getting introduced to a lot of different people and a lot of different organizations. Like there's a government organization that shows up and they're like, "Yeah, we ended up stopping the bounty that's on you, but you're supposed to not be making your presence known. So can you not?"
It is this definitely feels more like a straight up like battle shonen type show, which is pretty cool. Like also,
It most definitely is,
yeah,
right? But there's the nice slice of life moments that are
which
gonna
I'm gonna
create
enjoy.
that
So
that break, right?
yeah,
And I think ultimately the little girl is going to be an absolute riot for the series.
You think
Um,
that
sh-
is that like her his partner type thing? Like is that the main character or
she's
side
a little
character?
girl. She's a little girl, right? She's
Yeah,
like 8.
yeah.
Not even. She's like 7 or 8, right? So no, she's more like just a like supporting character that's gonna, the little girl that always shows up
Help him
and
open up, maybe. Like is that
does
maybe
cute
what her
things,
goal
and
is?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, more than likely. I think there's gonna be more to her as well. Like I said, her blood instantly heals any wounds.
So it's like his medic or whatever, right? Probably is what it's leading to, maybe.
She might it, so if she decides to do that, right? Because he's not gonna make her do that.
Yeah,
But I think she might decide to do that for him when he takes grave injuries.
yeah. Because I think that's a good like dynamic right there. Because you got someone that doesn't trust anyone because of like what's happened to her past. She's traumatized or whatever, and then you got somebody that like is closed off or whatever and kind of doesn't trust people either. But he also is,
He's
cares.
not trying to take advantage of
Yeah,
anyone, but he's concerned and considerate of
yeah.
others, is what it is.
I think, but those two characters, I think that they can like work well together and like change each other and develop their characters. You know what I mean? So that's a good setup, I think. Which I don't know how a little girl can do in battles, but maybe he don't need. Maybe he can protect her. You know what I mean? I don't know. So
Yeah, well, and we already see a bit of that too within the first few chapters, so
yeah.
that element is definitely there. Um, all in all, though, great manga so far. Really, really interesting. Great premise as far as how everything is set up. Um, Spoiler: we're actually about to get into a tournament arc. Fucking, we love tournament arcs, right? Almost as
Uh
much as we love ant arcs.
huh.
So
Yeah.
if I find any ant arcs, believe me, we will be spending an entire episode just talking about that and how it's stealing from Hunter x Hunter.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, I don't really know what's
I,
going on in this world, but is there a chance? You know what I mean? Is there a chance, Nam? You think?
I think there's a chance with Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. I don't think that there's a chance with Kagurabachi. Um, that being said, of the two that are left, I am going to continue reading both. I've thoroughly enjoyed both. I think that they're both gonna eventually end up as amazing animes at the end of the day, and I really want to see how things go now rather than wait. Um,
April 2027, by the way, is what the air time is supposedly supposed to be.
okay, so we got a year.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, Tyler, I still don't know what I want to choose.
Well, what about
It's a
this?
tough one.
What about this? I think since we're only gonna read like a volume or so, or maybe two at the most at a time,
I'm
what
gonna
if?
read one, or I'm gonna read each of them, right, and then I'll decide from there.
Well, I was gonna say
Or I might
what.
do both.
Well, I was gonna say, what if we just do three? You know, I
Turn it
mean,
into the book club rundown.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of sort of what this
It's
is in
it's
a
it's the book
way,
down.
except for it's like batches. You know what I mean? So,
Anime Degens rundown, Anime Degens book down.
but yeah, I mean, I feel like if we keep it to like one or two volumes at a time, I feel like three is totally doable, especially since you think that they're both like really really good and you can't decide over it. So why not just do three?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
because I'm gonna be reading all three or both of them at the
hmm
same time. Like,
yeah.
there's no way I'm gonna stop them. I'm still current with One Piece, so I mean, that's another thing too. If you guys do want to talk One Piece manga, I think we'll find a way to do something, right? We might be able to make a channel, right?
Oh,
You
we
guys will
we
have
got
to
one.
request a perm.
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking we create a secret channel, right? That you have to request the perms to get into. That way, it's just One Piece manga talk that nobody can accidentally click into and spoil themselves with.
Well, we do have a spoiler channel that that you're supposed to enter at your own risk. And if you wanted to be really careful, you could you could obviously use the Discord spoiler feature to spoil, the spoilers that you're talking about inside the spoiler channel, just in case you actually didn't want to accidentally spoil somebody. Or you could just talk about it in the manga channel or the One Piece channel. We actually got a One Piece channel too. But if you talk about it in the One Piece channel or the manga channel, it definitely needs to be spoiler covered, tagged, or whatever. But as far as the spoiler thing, spoiler channel, it doesn't have to be. It's there for a reason. So just make sure you clearly state that what you're talking about before you start talking about it. That way people can know what's going on actually. So but yeah, Nom's always wanting somebody to talk to about the new One Piece chapter, since I don't read it, and
Dan's halfway across the world 90% of the time now,
yeah, I don't even
living
know
his
if he
best life.
reads right now, right? With the baby and
He
stuff,
does. He
right?
does. No,
Okay.
he's reading, right? He is, because
But for
I
how
kind of gave him
long?
I gave him a recap of everything that we hadn't talked about in a couple weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Oh my god, I know, I can't believe." Um, but yeah, so that is all we have for the book club this time. Anything else that you wanted to add on, Tyler?
No, I guess it looks like for the first meetup, going forward, we're gonna be talking about Ichi the Witch, Kagurabachi, and Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi. We're gonna be talking about three different manga. We'll do like Nam said before, we'll do at least one volume per like manga, maybe two volumes. It just depends on, when we record and like how fast we read, all that stuff. And we'll just keep on doing them until we catch up, basically. So and then when we catch up, we'll find some more cool things to talk about and see if we like it or not. So, uh, but yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. And like Nam said, if you enjoy this new type of like content, I guess, because we usually don't do manga stuff. So if you enjoy us talking about like this style of manga content, let us know. Let us know in the Discord, socials, YouTube comments, Spotify comments, all that stuff. Just let us know what you're thinking. Hell, if you got recommendations, if you want us to, check out something, a cool, one of your cool shonens that don't ever get talked about or whatever, doesn't have an anime adaptation, all that stuff, let us know somewhere, and I'm sure
If
one of
any of
us
you
will add it. So
if any of you have read I Am a Hero, let us know through YouTube comments, on Twitter, on Threads. Let us know if Boob Morning gets any better or not. All
yeah,
right.
boob morning. Does he still in the zombie apocalypse? Does he still say boob morning instead of
Does the
good
zombie
morning?
apocalypse actually happen, or is he just imagining
Is it
that?
all in his head? Let us know, because this
We
is
These
this
are
is
the answers we
finished.
need to know,
So
and you guys can let us know. I know one of you have at least read this one. Someone
I
out there has
guarantee
read
it.
this.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to. I'll probably keep on reading it. To be honest with you, I would have kept on reading it because that chapter 11, man, that was a hell of a cliffhanger. I'll tell you that much. But
That's why they did it.
yeah. But with that being said, though, that's going to be the end of our Degen episode, aka book club. We will be back next week for the weekly run, not the weekly rundown, the spring rundown, where we're talking about Daemons of the Shadow Realm, One Piece, and what's our third show, Nom?
Wistoria?
Wistoria. I forgot.
The one show that you actually do the notes for and you forgot?
Look, Nom. Sometimes I forget
to,
things. A lot of times
to
I
be
forget
fair,
things.
I chose to do Goat Piece and Daemons myself because I do really enjoy how both of them are going. So it's not Tyler dropping more work on me or anything. It's not me taking work from him. I mean, it is kind of me taking work from him. Tyler did it a
Somebody's
lot
got to pick up
for so
Dan's
long.
slack. You know what I mean?
No, Tyler, you did it a lot for so long, so no, I have no problem doing it. But yeah, how dare you forget the only show you do notes on?
Bro, I was sitting here thinking, I was like, what the hell is our third show? What the hell is our third show? Yeah, I mean, that just goes to say, like, I watch so many anime, it kind of like, when I start thinking of names, I'm like, what's airing this season? You know what I mean? Like, what are we watching this season? So, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Make sure y'all check that out next Wednesday night or whatever. But until then, let us know. Like I said, linktree.com/anime Degens. Let us know what you're thinking about this episode, about the stuff we read. Let us know. So until then, we'll see you next time. Peace.